Hi, this video is an SEO checklist in 2019 for beginners. In this video, I'm going to talk about some critical SEO steps that many skip or do incorrectly or really have the wrong idea. I'm also going to talk about some major roadblocks that really prevents a lot of people from executing SEO very well or really following through on what is needed. Or a lot of the times people spend a lot of time on things that don't really matter that much and that really don't improve their ability to rank. There's a lot of that. So about me, my name's David Hood, and this is videos for Digital Assassin Dojo. I've made well over $1 million with SEO, and I'm on a mission to help at least 10,000 people make their first $1 million online. So let's jump into it. So first step is target market research. I remember when I first started doing SEO, I didn't really know what this meant, and it's something that, it's a skill that I've just continually had to build. So if you're just starting out, don't worry if you don't know this really well, or don't worry if this is something that like you feel like there's still some room to be desired. There's plenty of people who have been doing SEO a long time who still don't do this very well. It's kind of the unsexy part, but you have to start here. Because there's not much point in ranking for things that nobody wants, that's nobody's searching for, or that are not valuable, or that you can't provide like relevant content for, or that you can't monetize in an appropriate way. So one of the biggest things that I think is not exactly correct, it's not completely wrong, but it's not exactly correct either, is so like where do you start? Like what are you looking to create a website about? A lot of people go talk about your passion. I don't think that well, that can be useful. I don't think that is completely accurate, because the idea is that, oh, well, if you're passionate about it, you're going to know more about it and you're going to stick with it. And both those points are actually correct. And so it is useful to pick something you really love, but it's not enough for it to be something you're passionate about. You do have to run some other checks. And sometimes you don't have, like, your passions that you currently have, like basket weaving or whatever, and if that's like, you know, your biggest passion, it doesn't add up. And so you can create another passion. Also, you can find something kind of relevant to it and build on that. And the reason why it's not just about passion is that sorry, somebody is at my door, is that no matter what business you end up doing, there's going to be parts of the business that you don't enjoy, okay? No matter what. Okay, so there's no business where you're going to enjoy every moment of it necessarily. I think that's very, very unlikely, at least at first. And maybe, you know, once you become really successful, all the parts of your business you don't like, you can kind of pay other people to do. But to start, that's not where you're going to be at, okay? Or to be more precise, you wouldn't do those things if there wasn't some sort of payment at some point, okay? Even if let's say you love dogs and you're creating a site all about dogs, then you're still going to have parts of building this website and doing this that have nothing to do with dogs. Like it's not really like spending time with dogs. It's SEO and it's business and stuff like that. So that's really important to keep in mind. Boy, I think I forgot what the E and the K are. I'll come back to that. Let's talk about some tools that you can use to kind of do some research. Oh, okay. Actually, I remember what this is. This is valuable experience or knowledge. So this is a better like guiding principle. What kind of experience do you have that other people would value that maybe isn't like super common? It's not like something everybody has. So like you know, content about playing with your dog. While it might be something that people are interested in, it's not really like valuable experience or knowledge. This is, you know, it could be something that a lot of people have in common with. If it's something that is maybe the dog example isn't a really good one, that is kind of universal. But any sort of valuable experience or knowledge is going to make your content that you create much more shareable. If it's not just like, okay, well, there's millions of videos about people playing with their dogs, so it's not going to really stand out necessarily. But if you have something that's kind of a little bit unique, it doesn't have to be perfectly unique. You don't have to be the first person to experience something ever. But if it has some sort of uniqueness, it gives your ability to like make money long-term on it much higher. I think that is a lot better. And it's a bonus if it's something that you're super passionate about. If you just like it, that can be good enough. So I wouldn't like just stick with, okay, well, what am I passionate about? And if you look at all those things and none of them are really very monetizable, don't fret, because there's all sorts of different ways. And if you don't have valuable experience or knowledge, go get some. Go, find something that you think is good and go that you're at least interested in. You don't have to have it now. Something that you feel like you can go get it. Okay. So again, keep in mind that no matter what you do, there's going to be parts of your business that you don't want to do, even if it's about something you really love. Okay, so let's go into tools. So one of the simple things, we've been talking about dogs. So let's say you wanted to create something about like dog training. Let's call it like a bulldog training. All right. Okay, so I have some tools here. I actually have a Keywords Everywhere tool, which is a Firefox add-on, but I wouldn't need that. I get this data from it, but you don't have to have that. There's several things you can do here. So first of all, if you put the mouse here, again, the volume, the per month things are not normally in Google, but Google suggests a lot of things here. So American Bulldog training. Okay, that's interesting. You can also just go put a space and it'll suggest some things. A, and it'll suggest some things. B, C. Okay, so there's tons of different things down there, and you can come down here. You can see Old English Bulldog training. There's all sorts of different keywords down here. I know plenty of people who make a lot of money with SEO. They don't use any fancy tools. They do exactly what I'm showing you right now. And they might not even have this right here. They just kind of look to see what makes sense. You can also go to one of these. Let's see here. You can also go to one of these. It's not letting me copy that URL. Go to one of these pages and kind of see what they're talking about, and that can give you ideas. You can also use the Google keyword tool. You just click here and you sign in, and now they did change it to see the full search volume. I don't use this anymore. To see the full search volume, you do have to have some sort of ad. It's pretty small, but I've switched to other things. Like this still pulls a lot of good data for me, and I never really found the Google keyword tool to be that useful anyway. It was really bad at presenting like relevant results. There's tons of things that are missed. A better idea is to really try to understand the market you're targeting. Okay, so yeah, this is where having a passion does matter. So you can use your Google keyword tool. I use something also called Longtail Pro. I'll put a link to this below. I also have a video that's all about this, so I don't want to go too much into this. And then just kind of using your brain is, I think, an underutilized resource here. Really thinking about let's go back to like the bulldog training. Also, is there like a famous person that is relevant to this, or a famous product? A lot of this is not going to be suggested by other people, and a lot of times there's like searches for the person, like a program related to this, that's substantially more than kind of like the general, more competitive search phrase. Something to keep in mind, and you're really trying to understand your target market. That's probably the best thing you can do, and then searching to make sure that that people are actually looking for it. I'm not as big on like looking for like looking at the competition, because A, most of the tools that look up competition are not that good at estimating it, and B, ultimately, if you stick with something long enough, you can rank for high competition things, but you should also be able to rank for like longer tail, like very specific things. So I'm not mentioning competition in this video, but it can be helpful if you're really looking to like rank fast. Okay, so create a conceptual hierarchy. What does that mean? So this is like a hierarchy. By conceptual, I mean you're not actually building it on your site, but you're building out like what pages do you want to rank for. So if you think about like in a tier structure, the home page is tier 1. These are like tier 2 pages, so these would be like major categories. I know that ignore this right here. And then these would be like subcategories, and these would be like subcategories. So maybe your site is all about dog training, and then you have like bulldog training, and then maybe you have like German Shepherd training, and then you have like French bulldog training, English bulldog training, American bulldog training. So if you think about it like that, and building this, I usually build this in Excel spreadsheet, but you can do it with like a bulleted list, kind of like what I have here. So I have like categories and subcategories. That's going to be really useful. I think you should start off like that, because before you buy a domain or anything, getting this out there is going to be super important because it's going to help you understand all the different things you're going to try to rank for, and there's a reason for that. So when you purchase a domain name, this is a super important step. A domain name is here's a really big tip. A lot of people kind of know it, but they don't know how important it is. Your domain name is the single biggest lever that you can pull from an SEO standpoint. So if you're trying to rank if all the pages on your site are about dog training, then you're going to want to put dog training in your domain name, okay? Or at least to be more precise, by putting dog training in your domain name, it's going to help you rank much faster and much better for everything dog training, okay? So, if your name is Joe, maybe joesdogtraining.com. Yeah, that works pretty well. And then you just search up all the different forms of dog training. So we can just do, let's go back to dog training. All right, so yeah, this gets searched 165,000 times a month. You can know that I would ignore this competition right here. That's a pay-per-click competition, not really the same thing. That's a huge search phrase. You're not really trying to rank for that, but like dog training techniques, Karma dog training. I'm actually near like Frisco, McKinney, Plano. What we might want to do is here's where kind of using your brain. Types of dogs. Popular. So search popular types of dogs. So we're going to do retrieve. I probably typed this wrong. Labrador training right there. German Shepherd dog training. German Shepherd dog training. Okay, 1,600 times per month. So you can see here, you could build all these out, and you can basically make this as big as you want. And then within each one of those, so we go here and we go. So we got German Shepherd. Spelled it wrong. Obedience training, puppy training, how to train to attack. I'm not saying you should do that, but 1-year-old German Shepherd, 4-month-old. I mean, these are all like kind of subcategory pages, and so something like this is just going to obviously be less competitive. Obviously, it gets searched less, but being able to rank for this is going to be much easier. Now, maybe there's enough search volume to where your site is all about German. You start up here, and it's German Shepherd training. Okay, so this is there's a lot of different ways you can go with this. And where you go with this determines what your most optimal domain name is. Okay, so if you're new, you might not know the difference between registrar and hosting. So the registrar is where you essentially buy the domain name. And the confusion here is that oftentimes the registrar and the host are the same company. Because if you go to buy a domain name at a registrar, almost certainly they'll offer you hosting, and vice versa. If you go to buy a host, almost certainly they'll offer you to register a domain. And so it does make it simpler if you buy them at the same place. I like Namecheap or A2 Hosting. I'll put some links below. But the hosting is where the files are located. But it's not like the ownership of the domain name. But they can actually be in 2 different websites. So again, you want to put your. I prefer having something like flavor or branding, and then words found in all or most of your target keywords. So example, we've got joesdogtraining.com or Joe's German Shepherd training.com, something like that. This is a little bit long, but I wouldn't want to do something that's just like keywords. I always like to have something that's like some sort of brand and flavor. I think it ultimately increases the value of your website. Okay, set up what is called a content management system, and the most popular content management system is WordPress. There's a reason for that. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, it's WordPress, can be hacked." Yes, but there's some really easy ways to harden it, HARDEN, that make it very secure. It's very easy. It's very inexpensive. It's free. Typically, there's good themes that are either free or cost you $50 and you can just install them, and by and large they should work. Not only that, but if you're looking to hire someone to work on it, it's very inexpensive and very easy to find someone who can do work on WordPress. So I highly recommend WordPress, and I would also recommend if your host your host should have, like, if you go with either one of the hosts that I recommend, there'll be like one-click installs. So going from, when you bought your domain, and let's say you go to A2 hosting, you buy your hosting account and you register your domain through my link, which may or may not be an affiliate link. I think the A2 hosting will be an affiliate link. Namecheap is not an affiliate link, but you choose. Namecheap is a little less expensive. A2 hosting is a little bit better, but they both can do WordPress very easily. You just go in and you install it, and it just takes like 5 minutes, and then you have it installed. You have the basics installed. Get a basic web design. Okay, so here's where some of the roadblocks start to really happen. Okay, well, we did have some, I think a lot at the target market research. A lot of people either skip over it or they just stay there forever. Basically, spending a lot of time or resources on problems that don't really matter now, or that can be solved quickly, inexpensively, and well by another person. So web design is an example of that. You can hire someone for $100 on Upwork.com to create a really snazzy web design in WordPress. Okay, maybe $200 tops. Okay, I wouldn't spend any more than that, as opposed to spending 40 hours of your time fiddling around and trying to do it yourself and creating something that doesn't look as good before you're even ranking. So I would not spend a lot of time or money on this. You can even go so far as to use like a free WordPress theme, maybe, or like a paid $50 WordPress theme, just to get started, because this isn't going to be something where, like, you shouldn't spend a lot of time and energy building a website, building web design like that that isn't ranking yet. There's nobody seeing it. You're the only one that's really seeing it. Now, it shouldn't look like crap, but I think this is a major issue that a lot of people get kind of stuck on. Another roadblock here is sort of Legos. I have here Legos. It's because with my kids, they get these Lego like building kits, and they have like 37 steps, and you follow these exact steps, and then at the end you have your result. SEO is definitely not like that. There are some checklists. I'm giving you a checklist right here, but it's almost the fact that if you think that you can just like do 37 things or X amount of things, and at the end of the result you're ranking, it's not really that simple, because there's a lot of different scenarios, and there's a lot of kind of like rinsing and repeating and trying things, and things don't work out, and then you try other things, and there's just, in different industries, there's different ways to go about it, that where in one industry it'll work, in another industry it won't work. So thinking about this not like a checklist, and more like you're going through and you're doing things, but then you're gonna have to come back around, and you have to try things, you have to keep learning, you're gonna have to keep testing. So those are some major roadblocks. Okay, so now now you finally are ready to create some content. You've got a website, you've got a roadmap for the website, you've got the content management system up. Now you're ready to create the content. Okay, so video is the most engaging form of content, and it has the highest perceived value. And it's very easy to, actually, in my opinion, video is the easiest to create. And the reason why it's the most engaging is because anytime someone can click and be entertained in a forum, they tend to spend more time there. And this is actually an important Google metric. It's sort of like engagement SEO. When Google sends you traffic, they watch how long someone stays there. And if people are staying a long time on your site, engaging with your content, then that's going to be good for you. Not only that, but Google owns YouTube, and you can take this video that I'm making right now, I can embed it on my site very easily. And Google will see that when someone watches it. And also, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. So video is great. You do need some text. Typically, you don't always need text, but it's not as critical as people think. I'd say that when you write your text on a page, think about more speaking to the target market than about any like keyword stuffing or keyword density, or if you don't know what those mean, don't worry about them. Things that, like, don't write to Google, just write to the people who arrive on your site, to try to engage them as much as possible, and it'll naturally work out. This is title and URL. So after your domain name, the next biggest thing is going to be like the titles and URLs of your pages. So by that, it's like you can actually see it's like meta. I don't even remember off the top of my head. You go to a page. Let's actually go here. And we'll go here. So this is probably going to be the title. If you run the mouse over the tab, it'll give you the title. Or I hit Control U, And see, it's right here. This is the title tag. So this is the title of the page. And then the URL of the page, we'll just go here, is going to be basically this full thing right here. And see how you run the mouse over here, it's going to be the title of the page. Those two things are going to be the next thing. That's going to be where you're going to want to put your I guess it's not meta title. Shows what I know. These are going to be the next biggest areas to focus on from putting keywords. And you want like slight variations of the kind of for each page. So let's say you've got a page about 4-month-old German Shepherd training. Okay, you want to put one variation of that in your title and one other variation in your URL. Okay, and that's going to help you rank for that. Okay, so off-page SEO, otherwise known as link building. And I have a whole video about this. Putting that in this video is just well outside the scope. This is a lot of work, and there's a lot of different approaches to this. And so I just generally say that you need some sort of off-page SEO. Now you could just create a bunch of content and hope people will come, and that can work for you. But I think that you're going to need to do some amount of kind of like outreach type link building or in getting yourself out there. And there's a whole wide range of wide ranges of ways to do this. And then basically repeat 7 and 8. Repeat, create more content, do off-page SEO, rinse and repeat, boom, 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 and that's pretty much going to be like your plan for years. Probably you're not going to need to do this. Maybe every once or twice a year. Once every 1 to 2 years, you're going to update the web design. You're not going to need to do this. You can always add to this. Research your target market. Maybe you have a site about dog training. You start with 5 categories, and then a year later you add 5 more categories or something. That's always possible. But it's still kind of a variation of creating content and then doing link building. Okay, so hopefully you found this video valuable. If you did, please like it. You're still here, so you've watched it, so I'd like to think that you found some value out of it. Please comment below if you have any questions or thoughts, or you want to say my face is ugly. Just comment below. I will respond. And subscribe to my channel if you also like this video. So thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.